Okay guys, in this video I'd like to take a little bit of time to explain to everyone why I would make a decision like dropping out of college and trying to start a business and instead of, getting a degree and working for the rest of my life. So, famous businessman Robert Kiyosaki, something like that. He wrote a book. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and basically it just talks about the two views of life, right? So first, you basically just got to start with the grid. So we have our grid, right? Now, it's pretty easy to see there's going to be 4 different quadrants, right? So the first one, it's the most simple, anyone could get this, right? It's going to be the E or your employees, right? Or your school workers, your worker bees, whatever you want to call them. Hourly wagers, right? That's what they are. After that, what we have is our S's, which would be independently owned business or single business, singly owned business. I know it's kind of a funny letter to use, but that's what it is. And so there's employers and small business. That's the small business. There you go. That makes more sense. So up on this side, this is the 4 quadrants of the market or business, right? So right here, that's our B, right? That's our big business. That's our, as Robert Kiyosaki would say, our Bill Gates. That's our Bill Gates, right? Microsoft, Bill Gates. There you go. So, finally, we have I, or your investors. Now, what Mr. Kiyosaki, I gotta get that right. What Mr. Kiyosaki was teaching was that basically in his life, his real father was a PhD in mathematics, and he taught, I believe he taught math courses at like some big name university. But the point is that even though he had all that accreditation and he was doing things with it, he was working, and he made what a lot of people would call a really good life for himself. He is what Mr. Kiyosaki would explain as the poor man. And this was what his father was instilling in him as a young kid. Same as mine. Same as both my parents. Same as probably a lot of people that will be watching this video's parents. Everyone thinks that that's the way to live a good life, right? Everybody thinks that the way to live a good life is to go to school, you get a degree, find a good job with what? With what? What do these people want? What do they want? Security, benefits, right? The employee, he wants to hear those key words, right? He wants good paying job, maybe salary, right? Salary's a big one, and just so forth. You understand what I'm trying to say. That's what those are the key words that would go along with your employee benefits. So with your single or small business, a lot of things you would be hearing out of them, their tone, the way they, how would you say, the way they promote themselves, I guess is what it would be, is they would say, I don't know if you guys can read that, but basically it just says if you want something done right, we know the rest of that, you do it yourself, right? If you want something done right, you do it yourself. I'm going to move this back a little bit. It seemed to keep coming too close to it. So, you're right. If you want something done right, you do it yourself. That's what they would tell you. Now, on this side of the spectrum, this is what he would refer to as his rich father. And what his rich father did is, well, not his rich father, it was actually his really good friend's father. He taught him that, basically he taught him the complete opposite of everything his father taught him. And, I don't know, he used an example of the game of Monopoly, right? He said his poor dad spent all of his time gaining his knowledge, putting all of his time back into himself, trying to make himself, a bigger, better, more valuable person, right? Whereas his rich dad literally told him, do you want to be rich? Get good at this. And he sat down with him and he played Monopoly. Because it's literally an exact representation of life. Without failure, I guess. I guess you could say, yeah. Just failure. So, when you just, I don't know, I wanted to bring this up to people, just so people understood kind of how much of a difference a simple mind change, just the way you think about things, can make you one instantly 2,000 times happier. That's one thing. Because when you have no idea what you want to do, and you're just kind of going through the motions, telling yourself you want to do this, telling yourself you want to do that, like, you're basically speaking into existence a feeling that you have. But you're speaking into existence that you want to do something when you know you don't. And instead of doing that, I truly think we all have the ability to go out there and start our own companies, which is kind of why I'm doing this. I'm not really planning on having 2,000 million subscribers by the time I have a business. I think that's when I will get 2,000 million subscribers, but it's all good. It's all good, bro. Yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad. I don't even know what I'm doing. Anyways, I just thought it was really important to kind of talk about this because on this side of the spectrum, these people like to think that things like your house and your cars and stuff that just sits there, right? Stuff that it doesn't lose you money. Your house probably will, actually, because it's usually a 30-year mortgage or something like that. So your house will probably be a liability. But like a car, a fully paid off car, people like to say, oh, that's an asset. It's not an asset. What a true asset is something that if you stopped working right now, it's still going to bring in revenue. You can sit down on the couch and collect a check every month because it's still bringing in revenue. And that's what this side of the spectrum gives to you. Whereas this side of the spectrum, they're working all their time away and battling to save 10 extra pennies next month so they could put that in the savings account for retirement. Like, it's destined for failure. It's sad. It is sad. It's Stephen Simon. Hard hitting. Just kidding. But let's aspire, inspire. All right.